The best shoes cannot be made with just pure passion. It takes deep insight, experience, and a regard for the smallest of details to make a perfect pair of shoes. Because quality is never an accident, but an uncompromising process. A process that starts with an idea, 3 months in the making. These design templates, realized in a software, are first prototyped in our state-of-the-art sample rooms, leading the development of the shoe. Using lasts developed in Germany, the idea is brought to life with great detail and craftsmanship. 2 sets of samples decide the ultimate fate of the idea. The first establishes the value of the design and whether it has the trend-setting style to be a successful shoe. The second is tested for materials, fit and construction on the streets of Europe. This is where quality begins, even before the shoe is born. Meanwhile, the leather and other materials needed for the shoe are tested in cutting-edge labs. Colors and applications, constantly monitored by the Astor Müller Chemical Compliance Officer, are certified according to European norms. First comes the leather, used mainly for uppers. In this case, the uppers for a pair of ladies' boots and a pair of men's formal shoes. Leather is sourced from the best there is, from Europe and India. Reviewed under true light, every hide is examined for undesirable natural marks, so that no such thing goes into any shoe. Ahead of all of this, the sole is also prototyped, produced, and checked. A second quality check is done before it enters the production line. All the little embellishments, from name tags to metal icons, are also verified at the same time. The approved leather hide has now found its way to the clicking table, where expert cutters get things moving. A pair is always cut from the same hide, so that there is no variation, one of many essential cautions that make a pair of Astor Müller shoes perfect. Every component of a pair is numbered and checked against the patterns of the shoe. Components that are to be seamed together are then skived, a delicate splicing of the leather along the borders. These are fused with pattern-cut interlining. This adds form and durability to the shoe. Logos and other design marks are embossed, printed or cut into the right pieces, embedding the culture of the brand. The edges around the interlining, although concealed inside the final shoe, are colored by hand to match the final finish. In this instance, a warm, classic cognac. The components are ready for the next stage. Lining, insoles and uppers are stitched separately and then brought together. In every stitch, in the thread and the adhesive that holds the shoe together lies proven quality that's tested time and again. Quality is a burning passion in the people that stand behind the shoes, where the sharp eye, focus and stringent process allow very little room for error and chance. At this point, everything is checked twice over, because what comes next is the real art of shoemaking. The last, the key to the shoe's fit, determines how comfortable a shoe is for different types of people. Needless to say, the shape of the last can affect the marketplace fortunes of a shoe. Before the last is brought into the process, the back of the upper is molded into shape. With the last and insole inserted, the toe is then beautifully shaped on a computerized machine. Every shoe has a specific programmed setting, and the machine is also quality checked on a tight routine. The sides of the upper are folded over by hand onto the insole. And the back is sealed, completely fixing the upper to the insole. The lasted shoe is closely examined, and the foals on the base are buffed by hand over a running wheel. This is done several times. Some shoes, like the lady's boot, require special constructions. These are all done by hand. Here, a craftsman is welting the shoe, the hallmark of fine handmade shoes. Finally, the lasted shoe is ready to meet its sole. Adhesive is applied to both parts, twice over, and then reactivated by a carefully controlled heating chamber. A technician then brings sole and lasted shoe together. A chilling chamber makes the upper hug the last, taking the destined shape of the laced shoe. The last is then removed, and the shoe is all but ready. Finishing the shoe is all about patience, experience and technique. Before the sole goes on, the lasted shoe is hand-colored, layer by layer, section by section, bringing out the subtlest of tones in the leather. The shoe runs through various applications and is brushed several times in the process. Even the delicate edges and areas tucked out of sight under folds are colored by hand, bit by bit. Each step brings the shoe to life, impeccable and beautiful. All of this simply means that no two shoes, let alone a pair, are perfectly identical. That's the true value of hand finishing, the Asta Müller way. The right laces come on, and a newly born shoe undergoes a careful scrutiny. Every detail is checked against a perfect sample and the specs for dispatch, which are stored in a special black box. Although there are several Asta Müller technical and quality control personnel along the way, the line quality controller decides on whether the shoe finally makes it into a box or not. The box is labeled, and each shoe packed individually, with form packing between the pair to prevent any movement while shipping, goes into it. This too is checked against the order and shipping details. Shoe dispatch is carefully managed down to the assortment label on the carton. Boxes are warehoused and ready to be shipped. Quality checks, however, are still not over. At this point, the quality controller pulls out at random 10% of the shipment for a last inspection. That's when the journey of the perfect shoe has in effect just begun, and the lady can finally get her boot. Asta Müller combines Italian, Spanish and German design, traditional German shoemaking, modern-day technology, and expert hand craftsmanship to develop new techniques and production standards, all to create shoes that are preferred by millions across the world today. At the end, however, it's not just an unrelenting process structured for efficiency that makes the perfect shoe. It's also the people at work, the global experience, and the enduring shoemaker legacy of a gentleman called Johann Müller.